Well, good afternoon, everyone. Hey, this is Shooter Scott Henderson. It is Sunday, July 28th. Boy, does it really seem that late? Summer's almost past us. Of course, at the end of our presentation, please do review our disclosures. Now, today we're going to go over swing trade notes for the earnings week of July 29th. Have some key events coming up this week, so I think it's going to be a little noisy. Not only do we have FOMC on Wednesday, about 20% of the S&P is going to report this week. So a big earnings week, huge earnings week, actually. We have consumer confidence coming in on Tuesday, JOLTS job report on Tuesday as well. Obviously, the Fed rate decision, ISM manufacturing data on Thursday. I think that might be big. And then the June jobs report, which could actually be more than the FOMC, unless the FOMC changes their language. Now, the most anticipated earnings, and I flagged them. By the way, you just note my comments here because there are many more opportunities that the count doesn't necessarily see just because of the forward P&E on a lot of these stocks. So, McDonald's has had coming off a little bit of a correction. 5-9 is also reporting on Monday. So if you want to, you could sell some cash secured puts. I think they'll both do well this week. Then on Tuesday, we have Pfizer, Pins, Starbucks, and AMD. Those are also something I would look at as far as a short put, basically selling cash secured puts. Sophie and PayPal, I like common shares here, scaling in because I do think both of those do well over time. Wednesday, we have Bank of America, Qualcomm, Meta, ARM, and Lam Research. All of those are short put candidates for me. Thursday, we have Siri, Roku, DKNG for short puts. As a matter of fact, I might add DKNG. I wanted to look at it again tonight. And Friday, we have CDX. I think Chevron does well. And the reason I think Chevron does well, cash secured puts on Chevron, is apparently they're expanding their oil deal in Venezuela. And realize during Venezuela's high, in its period of prosperity, Chevron was one of the most profitable companies in the United States. So that political environment turns around and favors Chevron. It could do well. So then here is a earnings whisperer map of earnings, so you can get a better visual on those if you want to. Now, something I added this week, or I'm actually adding pieces in. I'm trying not to increase my workload, but at the same time, I also like the additional functionality artificial intelligence is giving me. What I basically am doing is I'm taking my analysis and I'm feeding it into AI and asking it to interpret it and give me a response. And then I'm asking it for its own opinion on the same concept, same technical points. So now we have a total of 7 stocks listed as swing trade notes this week, and here is the ranking. It ranks Home Depot first, BA second, Electronic Arts third, Chevron fourth, Lam Research fifth, Roku sixth, and Siri XM Holdings seventh. Now, actually, I am ranking Siri first, Chevron second, and third, Home Depot, because we have potentially a name storm with a 40% chance of development that primarily targets Florida or the Gulf. So that should bump Home Depot. With that, let's take a look at Home Depot. Now, right now we're about 359.25 when I printed this chart. We're looking for September 370 calls. In short, I just don't want to pay for 360. Otherwise, I would do 360 here because one thing that Home Depot tends to be a little moody, and we're not on the lower end. If we had a first candle down here off of this back test, it'd be good. There's not a lot of room. 365, this is an ABC. It should go into another corrective leg. However, that could flip because of momentum, so we want to keep that in mind. All right, looking at Boeing. Now, I think there's a number of catalysts, and there were a lot of orders in there, so we're looking at the August 190 calls. And you'll notice that with a lot of these trades, I'm staying tight. You want to be conscious. Earnings is Wednesday before the close. Actually, let me back up and do that and Boeing or Home Depot's earning is not until August 13th. Now, let's take a look at Entertainment Arts. Now, I'm just looking for an extension here. We had nice volume coming in into an earnings week, and it was building this weekend as well. So I like the August 145 right at the money calls. Part of the reason is the spread stunk or wasn't as tight as I would like it. All I'm looking for is a breakout with a little push to about 153. So we're looking for about $8 from here to the upside. Now Chevron. I actually really like Chevron here. Very aggressive, bullish stance. So it's changing that trajectory to the upside. Could be very aggressive. We could see it push right up to about 167, test these highs with some kind of positive news. Now, earnings is not until Friday, which is one of the reasons I like this for this week, because we have all week for the FOMO to build. So, but I like the August 1 to 60 calls. Here again, staying high and tight. And then looking at Lamb Research. Now, Lamb Research is probably technically the best looking chart. The problem is it doesn't have my volume coming into this. So we could end up with one leg lower. And I was really watching this after the gap, one of my stocks that I started peeking at every day just to see what it was doing. It might not be done here because we have a sort of a confirmed low and a divergent low here. So this could still be a 3, 1, 2, maybe a 3 down here at 850. And which makes it challenging because the price of these options, they are pricey. So I like the August 950 calls, but I would stay shallow. And actually, let me shallow when I say that, light on position size, or just flip over and sell cash secured puts. Looking at Roku, now, we've had this extended base. We broke out, rejected higher prices, came back and put in a new low, pushed in, put in a lower high. So we started this flat, and depending on how Mr. Market sees this, because you really never know, this could be part of your flat here. But a nice basing pattern, our confirmed low, divergent low, divergent low, divergent low, divergent low. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 divergent lows, and this is our first higher low coming off of this. So I like the look here. I'm only targeting 63.21 because I'm in the flat, but I like it. I want to start, when a chart starts turning from the bottom, I want to start trying to get a piece on in the room. I want to start migrating a little bit towards, off of this next drawdown that we have. I want to migrate towards some longer term position swing trades. And when I say longer terms, 6 weeks to 2 months is the timeline versus the short time frame that we've been sticking to. Now realize our P&L model is going to change a little on that because you can't be right longer term as much as you can be right shorter term, which is one of the reasons I go there when the market gets frothy and volatility that we're seeing. So, but I like those August 62 calls. 30s earnings is Thursday after the close. So we're not looking for a huge hit here, just 30, 50%, whatever we get. Now, ironically, these guys have been called, I tend to listen to the market in many different ways. Market always talks to us, tells us about these stocks. And, they have been very aggressive, in, soliciting my extension of my contract. And on top of that, we had some flow volume that was decent going the $5 calls, the August $5 calls. And I like this breakout look. So, we could push to this 520, 50% back of this whole leg to the upside. So I'm just noticing I don't even have my Elliott wave on this. But we do have a nice confirmed low and divergent low on this. So nice bottoming out. Actually, this was my favorite looking chart. And I typically don't like stocks under $10 just because the funds aren't a player. In other words, the big hedge funds are not buying stocks unless they're $10 or more. So we've got a major chunk of the market that's not trading this. But to be honest with you, with the sweeps, it looks to me like they are. So it's unusual that they're jumping into it. So they expect this to move, or it's got a split on the table and we just don't know about it, type of thing. So, but that's what we have for this week, folks. Great trading. Until next time.